take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it high. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to never stop. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top.
Hey guys, I'm the Black Pearl and welcome to another fascinating episode of My Future, My Career.
And I am Zola. Now, My Future, My Career is proudly brought to you by Nedbank.
This Nedbank initiative is aimed at equipping you with tools to make informed choices when it comes to choosing your career.
We'll take an in-depth look at different careers, what they entail, and chat to industry experts in different career fields.
In the 21st century, almost everything is run on computer technology. I mean, banks, shops, TV, music, cell phones. Our modern world would actually come to a complete standstill without computers.
Yes, now this means there is always a demand for qualified professionals able to set up and run these computer networks. In fact, information technology, or IT, is one of the largest and most important career paths this century.
Of course. Now today, we're going to find out more about computing and IT, from networking to website development, hardware, software, and management.
We'll also discuss what kind of training you'll need to get into the industry and what kinds of jobs are available. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you'll be inspired to get involved in computers and IT. After all, our future depends on it.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
We kick off with a special message from the man himself, Mike Brown, CEO of Nedbank.
If you plan carefully, set goals for yourself, and then work hard to achieve these, you can be anything you want to be.
Then it's time for Dr. Ernest Mkandla to give us an overview of the areas in IT one could get involved in.
The most important thing about the IT job is that you don't need to spend anything in order for you to develop systems.
And later in the show, we get some top tips from the fairy godmother.
What I do is I teach people how to turn their dreams into reality.
All that and more on the show today.
Do you have big dreams of pursuing your ideal career but don't have the financial means?
Well, check out the bursary info in your booklet to find out the many ways in which you can get the funds to study.
Let's get straight into it. Check it out.
Yeah.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
Hello, my name is Mike Brown, and I'm the CEO or Chief Executive Officer of Nedbank. And I'm here today to talk to you about careers. Selecting a career for yourself can be a very confusing process. Now that you are in secondary school, you are expected to begin carving a path for your future. The difficulty is that at this point in your life, some of you might not have enough information or experience to make the right choice, and careers themselves are changing rapidly as technology evolves. I was fortunate enough to pursue a career I felt passionately about, but I was in a way lucky to start down the right path, influenced more by what some friends were doing and what my parents thought than through any formal career guidance. After school, I completed a Bachelor of Commerce degree, followed by a diploma in accountancy, and finally qualified as a chartered accountant with Deloitte in the early 1990s. After 17 years in the banking industry, I have achieved a milestone in my career, to have the privilege of leading a proud organization that traces its history back to the 1830s. I say fortunate because I believe that I am the exception, not the rule. To help you become the exception and not the rule, we have launched the My Future, My Career initiative. Through a series of interviews with industry professionals and educational specialists, we hope to paint a clear picture of a wide range of careers available to you, so you don't just follow your friends like I did. To complement the series, we will also be providing each of you with a booklet containing national curriculum information, career information, places to study, and bursary information. These tools will assist you in making an informed choice that will point you in the right direction to match your skills, aptitudes, and passions to market opportunities and get you started on your selected path. Nedbank's slogan is "Make things happen." This applies not only to the bank, but to each of you in your own lives. So use the valuable information you will receive today to plan out your own future and make it happen. If you plan carefully, set goals for yourself, and then work hard to achieve these, you can be anything you want to be. Take every opportunity you have and don't be afraid to be ambitious. Who knows, You may even be the CEO of Nedbank one day. Or maybe you have already set your goals even higher.
We got to keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
First up, we have Dr. Ernest Mgandla, a senior lecturer and deputy head of department in the Business Information Technology Department at the University of Johannesburg. Now, his educational background includes a first degree in electrical engineering, a Master of Computer Science degree, and a PhD in engineering.
With him is Litlogonolo Maramolwa, college campus lecturer and system developer for Advitech. Now, Mr. Maramolwa is currently enrolled for a BTech in IT with UNISA. Welcome, gentlemen.
Now, Dr. Mgandla, the computing and IT field is very large, as we know, and it covers lots of different aspects. Would you please just break down the different aspects for us, please?
It's made up of computer science, information technology, information systems, and computer engineering. Computer science is the more, it looks at the theory behind computing. That's where they do things like algorithms, data structures, and programming. Then information technology is basically looking at the infrastructure that runs the IT systems in organizations. So that's where they would, you'd get your network administrators, your PC maintenance guys, and the help desk guys, and so forth. And then information systems is made up of the software that runs the business processes. So the focus of information systems is actually in the area of the business processes and the IT that runs business processes. Then the computer engineers, these are the guys now who deal with the design of the computer, coming up with the brain of the computer, something called the CPU, which is the central processing unit.
Super fantastic. So what is the difference between a technician, an engineer, a developer, and a manager?
A computer or IT technician is the person who actually does the repairs on the PCs. They also manage the network. They also design and implement, that is install your software upgrades, and also administer the networks and so forth. And then
An engineer?
the engineers, they are the designers of the computers, the hardware behind the computer, the operating systems, and so forth. That is the software that runs the computer itself. And then your software engineer, those are the guys who deal with systems, software systems. They integrate the different software systems and bring them together. And the software developers, they are basically a bit under the software engineers. They are more focused on the certain applications, specific applications. They would develop those and then give them to software engineers, then they bring them together. And then your network developers, these are the guys who now install and implement your networks that bring all the computers together. Then the manager basically runs the operations of all the computing guys.
Now, would you generally be one or the other, or can you be an all-rounder?
It would be a bit difficult to be an all-rounder in all those. We usually encourage students to actually focus on one of the areas.
But it's possible.
It is possible, depending on the kind of first degree that you actually get.
What would you say are the qualifications that would be typically offered by university?
Well, in 4 areas, there is computer science. In computer science, you'd have a BSc, start of a BSc in computer science, a BSc honors in computer science, and MSc in computer science, up to the PhD in computer science. Then for information technology is a bit complex. It depends on where it lies. If it lies in the computer science or in the science faculty, then you'd actually have a BSc, BSc honors, MSc, and also a PhD.
Now,
But if it falls under commerce or management sciences, then it would actually be a BCom in IT.
now, how can school learners decide which positions are best for them?
Well, a few very important things. It depends on the individual student. They need to spend time reading a little bit around what they would like to do. One of the things that I've found to be useful is for them to shadow a professional or two who is actually doing the work, so that if they want to be a doctor, they should go and see how a doctor works. They must also start choosing subjects that will allow them to actually go to university and do that.
Okay, and what skills would be useful for a person who wants to study and become a computer professional?
Well, maybe 3 of them. The first is they must be prepared to work hard because in computing, there's lots of work that need to be done. They must learn how to solve problems. So problem-solving skills are very important. And they must be able to express themselves in a language that they're comfortable in.
Now, you spoke about subject earlier on. Let's touch base on that. What type of subjects should learners be taking in order to venture into IT?
Well, the 3 most important subjects are mathematics, because it builds the logic, and language. So, because computing is actually a language for computers. So they actually, whatever language they're comfortable with, they must know that. And they must also do science. If they happen to do information technology as well at high school, it's an advantage, but not necessarily a requirement.
And now a lot of schools and homes don't have personal computers, you know, so when a person wants to enroll for a course in IT, do they need to know how a computer works, or can they learn from scratch?
They can learn from scratch. It's not necessarily that important that they should have used a computer before. However, the learning curve is going to be quite steep if they've never met a computer and they meet it for the first time at university.
Now, please describe to us a typical IT course structure. What kind of things are covered there?
Well, I can think of IT management that we give to our BCom IT students at first year, second semester. In IT management, what we teach them is how the information technology infrastructure can actually be utilized to the advantage of the business. So you'll find that IT is actually supposed to provide service to the business. And it is important for IT managers to understand that concept so that everything that they do must actually align to the business strategies of the organization. So we teach them that, and we look at the infrastructure, we look at the technology, and we look at the applications, things like your social networks that organizations have started using, and I think it's going to be the future. It will replace quite a number of things. So that's a typical course that we teach, which is very exciting to the first year students.
Yeah, and do universities offer specialized courses for specific qualifications?
Yes, they do. For example, network technology, you can have a network administrator, they will focus on that. You can have a software developer, they will focus on that, web development, systems developers, and so forth. So we do offer those, but specializations usually come a bit higher after they've done their first degree. Then they can start looking at specializations.
Oh.
Now, speaking of specialization, is it important, and will I earn more as a specialist?
Definitely. In fact, the main shortage in South African industries for certain specialists, it can be a business analyst, a network administrator, it can be a systems developer, Java developer, and so forth. So specializing does pay.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Coming to you, Hlogi, I want to know what courses are delivered by College Campus.
Well, College Campus deliver a variety of courses. We offer diplomas in the likes of IT management, network management, software development, and web development. What College Campus also do is that they offer career guidance at the campuses, where a student would actually come and meet with a student advisor, and they would go into the detail of what different aspects are covered within each and every qualification that College Campus offers.
Now, you used to be a student.
Yes.
At College Campus,
Yes.
And now you are a lecturer. How did you work your way to becoming a lecturer?
It started as easy as me started working as an assistant lecturer. So when I was on advanced courses, I would be called to come and assist students that were doing the lower courses. And immediately I fell in love with teaching, and that's how I ended up teaching full-time.
Super fantastic, Hlogi. Now, is it safe to say that College Campus delivers vocational courses in IT, and what does this mean?
Absolutely. Part of College Campus' strength with regard to offering career-orientated qualifications is that we believe in actually using information and knowledge that has been gained through work experience and practical experience. What College Campus do is that most of our qualifications are integrated with practicals as well as theory. This allows us to actually simulate a work environment into the classroom. The major aspects of our qualifications that ensures that our qualifications are in fact career-oriented or vocational is that we've got aspects such as work integrated learning and work readiness program, because the qualifications that are offered by the independent institution of education through college campus is that normally the people that design the courses, they actually study the market to analyze what skills are most needed in the market, and using that information and that understanding of which skills are most needed, that information is now used to be integrated with the qualifications that are being created.
Now, Tlogé, how are courses at an institution like College Campus different from those offered at a university?
College Campus is a career-oriented institution, and we are more skills-driven. We focus on key areas in IT, and our content also allows students to also pursue the opportunity of becoming internationally certified.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other. It all boils down to what does one want to become.
Absolutely, it all depends on the individual. There are other factors that also are involved. For instance, there are simply not enough universities to cater for all the pupils that are matriculating. So we position ourselves in a space where we are able to offer qualified qualifications that are recognized and accredited for those students that were unable to enroll at universities. So it's not that one is better than the other one. You can simply look at it in a way that we actually complement universities. Sometimes there are situations whereby, if you look at the NSC certificate, it does in fact evaluate whether the student qualifies to enroll for a degree or a diploma. Should a student be qualified to enroll for a diploma and there aren't enough diploma options at universities, institutions like College Campus are in a position to offer those kind of students quality, accredited and recognized qualification.
So let's say I know how to use a computer. I mean, I can check my mail, I can surf the net, I can use programs like Word and Excel. Why do I need to go study? Can't I just go and get a job as an IT technician?
Well, because IT goes a bit deeper than that, when computing was actually introduced, there were two categories that were used to categorize applications or software. The first category being the general-based or generalized applications, which simply refers to the most basic software applications. Now, these basic software applications normally are understood by people who are computer literate. Now, actually, having the knowledge of such applications does not actually mean that you can get a job in an IT capacity. To get a job in an IT capacity, you need to have specialized skills of using the second category of the applications, which are the special-based or specialized applications that actually allows you to start using special-based tools or functions that are packaged into those applications. I can give you a personal example. Me as a systems developer, I have to understand softwares that I used to write web applications or website or softwares or applications. I have to understand the softwares that I use to develop databases and all of those things. Now, that's where the difference is, general-based against special-based. So somebody who needs to be employed in IT needs to have the skills of the special-based type of application.
Great stuff. And you also tapped into jobs right there. I want to go into there, storm into there right now. What types of jobs are available in the computing and IT industry?
There are many types of jobs that are available. Normally, one important aspect to understand also is that in most countries, some of the job types in IT are misunderstood. To get a good sense of what the job is all about, you need to focus on the job description. The job description and the job type mainly depends on the type of the organization, the industry that the organization participates in, and the size of that organization. Now, jobs can range from analysts as categories. I'll just go through analysts, development, infrastructure, security, testing, and management.
Is it better to specialize in one aspect of IT, or can you be an all-rounder?
That's an interesting question, and honestly, I would honestly say a bit of both. But the most important thing is to specialize because the industry is hungry for specialized people, and also sometimes the reason is that even as a specialist, you are sometimes asked to step outside your area of specialization to participate on other tasks or other projects. That's why it's important for you to also leave a room for understanding other things besides the area that you specialize in. But the specialization is very, very important.
Now, what kind of companies would be looking to employ IT professionals?
Well, it's quite a big range of companies, but we can start off from IT companies that actually deal with IT, companies like the IBMs, and then consulting companies such as your PwC, your KPMG. Then government also employs a lot of IT professionals. And on the communication side, you have companies like your telecoms and your Vodacoms, your Cell Cs, and mining companies also employ a lot of IT graduates. And a good number of our graduates are also taken by financial institutions such as banks and so forth.
Do you want to add on to that, Tlhogi?
An important fact to add on is that most of major industries in the world are moving towards globalization, and in the recent years we've seen that technology is in fact an essential player in the globalization space.
Now, can someone start their own IT company, or would you advise them to join an established organization?
Well, interesting question. It is possible to start your own company. In fact, the history of IT shows that people who start off their own companies end up very, very far. Examples are Microsoft, and so forth. So it is possible, but it depends on being an entrepreneur. Requires certain qualities. If you don't have them, you would rather start by working somewhere and gain a bit of some experience, then you can start off your own company.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are lots of development in IT. What can one do to stay up to date with the latest developments?
Well, there are many ways to actually do that, but the most important aspect, because IT is so broad and the industry is so big, it's almost a bit impossible to actually keep up to date on everything. So what I would suggest is to first identify the technology that you would like to follow, and there are many programs out there. You can affiliate with the major technology players. You can be associated with partner programs. You can subscribe. Basically, the internet is the major tool that you can use to actually always keep up to date. But like I said, it's quite big. So first of all, identify exactly what you want to be updated on and take it from there.
Now, everyone has heard of courses being offered by Microsoft and other companies. Is it possible for me to stay at home and teach myself IT and computing and computers, or would you advise me to go to an institution and get that education?
Well, I would certainly advise you to go to an institution and first get a proper qualification before you can consider certification. I'm also a certified professional, and I have a good understanding of what it actually takes. You must understand that there are individuals that have done that before, but that kind of talent is very rare. And people like that usually are people that started being exposed to computers to the ages of 9 or 8 sometimes. So it is mostly important for you to actually first enroll for a proper qualification, then pursue on certification thereafter.
I want to ask the both of you this question, but I'm going to start with you, Tlhogi. What advice do you have for learners who want to pursue IT as a career?
Well, the advice that I would normally give is that, number one, you need to have passion. It's absolutely necessary for you to have passion, and you also need to love technology. It doesn't need to understand in detail, but it starts as early as you understanding some of the popular things like your social networking. The moment you start being interested in those things and wanting to understand the logic that is used to build those kind of applications, that's how you start developing passion. I would definitely say that you need passion before you can pursue a career in IT.
Yeah, and your advice, Doctor?
Besides the passion, you also need to be driven by technology. You need to be excited by coming up with new things, and the most important thing about the IT job is that you don't need to spend anything in order for you to develop systems. You just need a computer and your brains. So what it means is that anyone can actually do it if they have the passion and they have the correct background and the good training.
Now, is the potential for personal growth in IT, or will I be stuck in the same position year in, year out, year in, year out?
It's impossible to be stuck impossible to be stuck on one job in IT or the same thing. It's not possible because IT grows faster than you can actually cope. Most professionals find it difficult to keep up with the pace.
You agree?
Yes, no, sure, definitely, I do agree. It's almost impossible because there is a huge demand for skills and people are continuously being shifted from one position to another. And the more people shift higher, it opens a room for other people to actually come in. And yeah, it's so you can never, that's more than enough, more than enough.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been super fantastic.
Very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We got to keep it moving. We got to never
Now, let's see if you can solve this.
Is the following statement true or false? BIT in computer technology stands for binary digit.
The answer coming up just a little later.
keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top.
After the break,
Jacques Wottermeyer from Integrate IT tells us how he integrates an IT system into a business.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
Our course wasn't perfectly trimmed. There were no greenkeepers, or sprinklers, or even grass for that matter. On our course, the hazards were real. Some might say it wasn't a course at all. But when you've played where we have, you know the true value of those who can make things happen. Nedbank.
Take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to never stop.
before the break, we wanted to know whether the following statement was true or false. BIT in computer technology stands for binary digit.
And the answer is, of course, true. A binary digit is the basic unit of information in computing and telecommunications. There you have it.
But more about that later.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
With us now is Jacques Wottermeyer, now the business unit manager of professional services at Integrate IT.
Yes, now he'll be giving us an idea of what one could end up doing on a daily basis as an IT professional. Welcome, Jacques. How are you doing?
Fantastic, and you guys?
Great. Now I want to know about your job. Can you describe your job at Integrate IT?
100%. Well, I head up a service division within the Integrate IT group called Professional Services. I manage a group that literally consists of 15 professionals on a day-to-day basis, ensuring that we deliver prime technology and services through to our customers.
Great stuff, Jacques. So I want to know, what exactly did you study to get to where you are today?
I did my local computer science diploma through CTI. Literally picked up from that and kept on with my studies, completing Microsoft courses and also Cisco courses throughout my career. And have lately embarked on literally business management courses.
Yeah.
So that's literally what I've studied to get where I am at.
Now, Jacques, what services would a typical IT company offer?
Well, it's so broad. You look at a couple of services, for example, in-house development services, advanced infrastructure, deployment services, and then you go down to the normal desktop support services. So it's very broad, depending on in which industry or in which part of the IT industry you literally focus, depends literally on what services you offer out to the customers.
So what type of people would be typically employed by a big IT company?
Sure. Well, look at any kind of business. You've got your finance department, you've got your HR departments, you've got your service delivery departments, you've got reception, So it's kind of a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
But I would say, you know, if you're looking to engage directly into the technical field of an IT company, you're going to have a look at somebody that's got good experience, has got decent certification, and then at least have got some innovation they want to bring into the business. So by saying that, literally it's offering the best kind of technology services out to guys in the field.
Now, Jacques, I want to know, how do I know that my path is leading me to IT? Like, if I'm a geek of note in high school and everybody comes to me with their computer problems or maths or science or anything of that nature, you know, does it mean I need to get into IT because I'm so passionate about it?
I would say yes. I think follow your heart. Do what you are good at. And if you are so good at it at that stage, you are the geek that everyone literally comes to, why don't take it further? Go and literally sit down and say, well, guys, I am great in doing what I'm doing now. So why don't I take this further? Why don't I literally just go and study in a direction that will literally finish me off in the industry that I want to literally engage in?
Yeah, so they can definitely develop their hobbies into their careers.
Correct.
So basically, an IT company doesn't only hire people in IT. Can you tell me about the management positions?
So inside our business, we've got different business units, right? So in essence, what happens is every single business unit has a manager, and it is his and her or her responsibility to literally guide his or her team into the same direction that the company is driving towards. So those business units literally vary from normal technical services, financial services, HR services, etc. And what the business manager literally have to do is to ensure that they drive his or her team, right, to deliver on time and within budget when we present to our customers.
Okay, makes
Super
sense.
duper. Now, why is project management important in IT?
Well, anything that is related to IT literally has a start and it's got a finish, right? Or it's got a constant involvement. So the importance of bringing project management inside or inside an IT organization is literally to ensure that a project is delivered within time, on budget, right? And that the correct resources are allocated to a certain set of projects being delivered to customers.
Now, Jack, some IT products are designed for everyone, like Microsoft Office, but some people need special programs to run specific needs for their company or to meet the needs of their company. How do you go about creating new programs for a client?
The answer is generally, can it be done or can't it be done? And in IT, the answer is always, yes, it can be done. So when we embark with a customer, we literally sit down with them and find out what their needs are. Specifically, what is it that they require the program or product needs to be doing for them, right? So in some situations, we go and massage currently developed programs for the customer and literally provide them with the detail on exactly how they can succeed in utilizing the programs like they do. On the other hand, there is specific development done by programmers whereby they will write a specific program according to that customer's needs.
Now, the IT industry is changing all the time. How does one keep up with the latest?
I would say that you need to align yourself with your studies, right? IT will always keep on changing. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of innovation going into this big technological cloud services, etc., on a day-to-day basis. When you engage with your studies, make sure that you just keep on studying. That's literally it. Keep on innovating, keep on studying, and make sure that you align yourself with the industry best practices.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
It is very interesting now, and it sounds very challenging as well. So what is the most challenging part of your job?
Sure. Giving the customers what they really want,
Yeah.
right? But also not just saying that, is literally facing the challenge on a day-to-day basis, but having fun at it.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of challenges in my job, but I enjoy it. So there's not one specific challenge that I would say that I dread on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the most rewarding part of your job?
seeing a customer succeed, literally seeing the success of our projects being delivered in a customer's organization, literally them turning back to us and say, guys, thank you very much for making our dreams come true, or at least giving us the opportunity to share with you our vision, right? And then for us to literally implement the right kind of technology to fit their business needs. It's very, very rewarding to see that after we've signed off a project, that the customer is happy and that customer plus technology work together, and while they're at it, having fun.
Now, Jacques, what personal skills would a person need to become a great project manager?
Sure. Well, it's broad, right? I think you need to have enthusiasm. You need to have great people skills, right? You must be able to literally guide people and also not dictate to people, but guide people, right, to ensure that they deliver what they are supposed to on time. Have great time management skills, have great communication skills.
What skills are most in demand within the industry?
Well, currently, I would say it's virtualization skills, security skills, and literally project management skills, right? Those will be around for quite some time to come still. But like I mentioned previously, ensure that while you're at studying that, right, or studying towards those kind of skills, that you look at what the future might bring and literally embark on your studies to add to your portfolio.
What advice would you give to school leavers who want to get into IT?
I would say go and literally draw up a list, right? See what is out there. Because the list changes on a daily basis, I would recommend that you literally just sit down, see what is it that you love doing, right? If you love networking, for example, go and see what's out there so that you can go and study into the networking field. If you love development and you love putting stuff together and developing programs or services, go and see what the industry is offering with regards to certification around that. So I would say follow your heart and follow what you like doing, and literally go and see what does IT offer in those areas.
Well, Jacques, thank you so much. That was very informative, yeah?
Fantastic.
Up next, some top tips from the fairy godmother.
We take it to the top.
My name is Donna McCallum, and I am a fantastically fabulous and magical fairy godmother. In each of these episodes, I will be covering one of the 10 tips in more detail. And just so that you don't miss out, here are the 10 tips. Tip number 1, be authentic. Tip 2, play to your strengths. Tip 3, have fun. Do what you love and love what you do. Tip 4, it's your choice. Tip 5, learn to learn. Tip number 6 is dream big. Tip number 7, take action. Tip number 8, overcome your fears. Tip 9, build support around you. And tip 10, gratitude. Today's tip is tip number 4. It's your choice. It's your life, so you get to choose every minute of every day how you live your life. When you are 17 or 18 years old, you are certainly old enough to make your own choices about your life. How many of you think your parents would be quite upset to hear me say that? Yes, you should ask your parents or teachers or friends for advice, but at the end of the day, it is your life, so it's your choice. Choices have consequences, and sometimes those consequences will be good, and sometimes they'll be bad. But you are empowered when you live your own choices. You're disempowered when you live other people's choices. If there is something you really want to do when you leave school, then be brave and explain to your parents and friends that it is your choice. If you really want to do something that your parents don't think is a good option, then use your initiative. Research it. Find out all the information you can. Find people you can speak to who do that job or are in that profession. And once you have all the information at your fingertips, then organize a formal meeting with your parents and present your research and findings in a well-constructed way and tell them about your passion. Once your parents see that you've done your homework and researched your passion on your own, they'll be much more supportive.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
Up next, we have with us senior programmer Dushan Babish, CEO of Device Magic.
And if you've never learned the languages of ones and zeros, then he's the one to give you the A to 0. Welcome, Deshaun. How are you doing?
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good. Now, I want to know, I'm a bit confused. I know that hardware is the physical machinery that does the computing, right? And software is the actual program that lets you do stuff. But I'm a bit vague on the details. Can you give us a definition of software, please?
Well, that's a pretty good definition, but software is the bits and bytes that a programmer writes software in and then loads onto the actual physical machine. So the software is what gives the program its flavor, the way it looks, the way it behaves.
So what exactly does a software developer do?
Well, a software developer would create those programs, that's his day job, and he would use various programming tools and build the software, using another language to write the software and load it onto the machine.
Now, Deshaun, I've heard terms like back-end and GUI. I don't know what in the world they mean. And how do they relate to software, if they do?
Well, they're both parts of software. The back end is usually the part you don't see. It would be the rules that govern the system. Maybe it's the business rules, the accounting systems, how to calculate a price. Whereas the front end or GUI is what you actually interact with. You type something into a search box, you click on some menu item. That's the part that the human actually interacts with, clicking the mouse or the keyboard.
So would I need special software to create new programs?
Well, you do need special software, but more and more it's becoming free and widely available. You only really need an internet connection and a laptop. You can basically do anything you want for free these days. There's very little that you actually have to pay for. There's a massive open source movement. So to write a website or smartphone application is cheaper than ever.
You know, Deshaun, you make it all sound so easy, but we know that it's really difficult because I don't think we could ever do it. So does it take a lot of training to actually become a programmer?
Well, in my case, I didn't have a formal education in programming, so I was self-taught.
Wow.
And it was basically a hobby, growing up. And you definitely can be taught at tertiary institutions or school these days, and that's probably the recommended path to do, like BSc Computer Science or Electrical Engineering, but it's certainly not a requirement.
So please tell me, are there different types of programmers?
Most definitely. Programmers can range from people that are working on corporate systems that do payroll and human resources, to people writing mobile or embedded apps that could be in a car or a cell phone or a smartphone, to web developers that are writing web applications like Facebook or LinkedIn. So there's a massive spectrum of programmers.
Okay, and what other career paths can computer programmers follow?
Well, often, after leaving university or however you get started on your first job, you'd be a junior programmer working in a part of a team, building some part of the system. You'd progress to a senior programmer, then you could be a team lead, and then you could move up into management. So that's definitely one career path. Another completely different one is to say you do your own thing, where you start doing the coding, then you become like CTO, CEO, whatever, VP of business development, and you eventually become this big company like Google did, basically.
Yeah.
Now, is there a scope to be an entrepreneur as a developer?
There's a massive scope, and now more than ever. Like there are many examples, but Facebook's a great example. But there are hundreds of companies like Facebook, but on a smaller scale every day, that are coming out of Silicon Valley and other places. And for the first time, geography is really less important. So it's a great time. Yeah, definitely. Silicon Valley is not the only place, but there are many startups, especially internet startups, coming from all over the world. People writing smartphone apps or apps for the iStore or iPad and iPhone that really, aren't from a traditionally tech area.
Now, you've just touched on apps or applications, and we have programmers who do these things, but what can they do? What can apps do?
Well, there's a wide variety of apps. There's personal productivity applications. Maybe you want to track your gym workouts or what you're eating. Then there are enterprise apps that handle some aspect of business, maybe. There's social networking apps, people that connect you with friends, other networks you may have, business networks, social networks. There's a variety, really. It sort of spans everything that people are doing. There's apps to read books, to buy music, to discover new music, to discover new people, new places. Really, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever dream of creating that killer application that will make you a millionaire so freaking bad?
Yes, definitely. Every software entrepreneur is basically trying to create the killer app and get this massive exit, and that's really part of the dream. So I'm currently pursuing one now. It's called Device Magic, and it's a simple tool for gathering data in the field. But there's many stories like that. Everybody's pursuing something they believe can change the world and create a lot of money.
Nice.
But tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard there's an application where, I don't know who created it, but you can actually find your car. Because when you get off a shopping mall,
Really?
when you don't know where you parked. Is it true?
I've heard of something similar to that, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. I think it geotags where you were. You have to say, okay, this is where I parked. And then
Yeah.
You tell the phone, you tell the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah, but I suppose that would only work in an open parking lot where you can get GPS signal. But yeah, so they really, the confidence of having a mobile device with a lot of processing power, more than PCs a few years ago. It's got a GPS chip in it. It's got a camera, which opens up all sort of augmented reality scenarios. It's really a powerful device and able to do amazing things. And I think we're only discovering now some of the really compelling scenarios and use cases for them.
Yeah. Now, I want to know, do developers create websites as well?
Definitely. Some of the most successful recent internet startups are really primarily a website, like Google, Facebook, Yahoo, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yeah.
Started as a website and maybe evolved into other things, such as a mobile app, but primarily they're actually a website.
Now, please give us a typical day in the life of a programmer.
Okay, that could vary if you're working at like a corporate where you're doing payroll software to if you're at a startup. And I can only speak from the experience I've had, which is mostly been at startups, where like the starting time is not very important, but you generally work quite late. The first thing you do is get coffee, read emails, catch up on news, and then you get started into like a stretch of programming that could maybe last 3-4 hours. And yeah, it's mostly in front of a computer. It's interacting in a more virtual world, in an abstract world. If you're communicating with people, it's often on email, instant messenger. Programs don't really like phones. That's pretty much the average day, I'd say.
Super cool.
Now, what do you hate about your job, if anything?
Well, if you don't like working in front of a computer, then you're not probably going to like it. Or if you really thrive on interacting with people, maybe it's better to be like a team leader rather than an actual developer. You're always in an abstract world and trying to solve a problem. There's always some issue. There's often a deadline. You're usually working under pressure. The requirements and specifications change. Don't always get along with co-workers.
Like this one over here. I'm trying to keep my cool right now,
Please, you know you like me.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. All right, cool. Let me just jump in there. Sorry, don't mind us. We talked about IT and how it changes all the time. Now, with these spanking new applications, do developers and programmers study? Because they're changing all the time.
It really depends on the person, but that's why, at least from my perspective, I believe in a more like fundamental education in computer science rather than learning a specific language. So like in the 80s and 90s, C++ was the language, and now it's Ruby on Rails, Java, PHP. So I think it's better to learn like the fundamentals of how computer systems work rather than a specific language.
Yeah. Now, what does it take to be a great programmer?
Well, there's many books and articles on the subject that could answer this much better than I can, but I'll try anyway. I think you've got to have some kind of mathematical inclination or like the virtual or abstract and be able to manipulate things in your mind, enjoy solving problems on your own. Yeah, and there's a lot of creativity. Programming is not quite a complete science yet. There's a bit of an art to it. And that's really what's interesting about it, is it's artistic as well as being very, very analytical.
Now, can you get your job done from anywhere in the world, or do you have to be in a cubicle, in an office, next to a desk, next to the clock, next to the files and everything? You catch my drift?
I do. In theory, I catch your drift. In theory, you can do it wherever you want, and I often try doing it in strange places. You only really need interconnection, and you can be connected to everything you need at work. Often you'll have to collaborate with a team, though, so sometimes it helps to be, at least for a portion of the day, with your co-workers and have some shared time.
Now, honestly, Deshaun, is it a rewarding career?
I personally find it very rewarding. It's rewarding to have a problem that you didn't understand before, to solve it. It can be very creative. You can build something from scratch that didn't exist before in a couple of hours. It's something that's very hard to do in the real physical world with bricks and mortar. So software is extremely rewarding. You can do something really quickly, really inexpensively.
Now, I'm sure there are a lot of people watching right now who really want to get into programming. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I think be online, and there's so many resources there. There's a lot of open source projects that once you got started, you can start contributing to, which is really rewarding as well. You get to learn from very experienced programmers and see something coming to fruition that's already in use by people. And start downloading tools, most of them are free, and get started. Like, there's a whole community to help you out there. So there's resources, tutorials, free training. You can really dip your toe without any risk at all.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Why,
Well, thank you so much, Deshaun.
Thank you, it was great to be here.
Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to
Before we go to the break, let's give our brain some exercise with this brain teaser.
In binary language, 0, 1, 10, and 11 represent which decimal numbers? Think about it. The answer coming up after this. Next up, Geldenes Gombrink, MTS Manager, Anglo-American.
See you after this.
One small step. One love. One body.
One shoe. Maybe one day. One opportunity. One silly mistake. Just one more.
One dream come true. One match. One vision. One chance. 1 minute on the clock. One touch. One pass. One cross. One on one. One hope. One shot. 1-0. One cup. One winner. One bank brings you the tournament that makes things happen. Kia na, the one. Make things happen. Nedbank.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
With us now is Geldenes Gombrink, the MTS Manager at Anglo-American Thermal Coal.
Now, want to know more about how to manage these complex computer systems? Well, let's hear what he has to say.
Welcome, Geldenes.
Thank you.
Now, you are an IT manager at Anglo-American. Can you tell me what your responsibilities are, please?
Well, my department looks after all the mining and technical type systems. So these include systems in a geological, mine planning, surveying, and all sorts of other areas such as time and attendance, marketing, etc. So whenever there is no system available in the market, we also develop systems in-house. And most importantly, we engage with the business. We understand what the needs are and see which packages are available and implement those through projects.
So what exactly is your background?
I originally studied information technology and started as a junior software developer with Anglo many years ago. I worked on various development projects, designed systems. I was a systems analyst at one stage, and my career made some changes. I became a project manager. I managed a variety of projects throughout South Africa as well as abroad. And you know, through the years, gained lots of business experience with the IT knowledge, and I mean that is the recipe for success, really.
Super.
What made you choose to work for a big corporate instead of an IT firm?
Well, I originally got the opportunity to start working for Anglo. And once I started working there, I saw it's such a huge company with so many different areas and challenges and opportunities that I've always remained working for them.
Now, would you say one would need to know lots and lots about computers in order to become an IT manager, or does it all boil down to human resources?
I do believe you need to have a good overall knowledge, but you do not need to be an expert in each area. That's why you have a team, and you need to make sure you've got the right experts in the various areas in your team. And it's really about managing that and bringing that together.
And that's why I think we have to study as well.
Correct, yeah.
Of course. Now, you mentioned a team. Please tell me more about the different members that make up a typical IT team.
Okay, firstly, there's the network specialists. So those are the people making sure that the networks are up and running and secure. You also have the business analyst people, which engages with the business to make sure we capture all the business requirements and deliver the solutions that we need. If there's no packages available, you would typically have systems analysts and software developers designing and developing those systems. You also have architects. Those are the people that have a good knowledge about all the tools, technologies, and systems. And they will recommend and standardize, make sure we reduce complexity, etc. There's other aspects such as risk. You need to make sure you have the right risk managers on board to mitigate disasters and those kind of things. And then security. I mean, there's lots of viruses and other things out there. You need to have the right people, the right tools to mitigate those as well. Yeah. And then lastly, I guess project managers to execute, to implement systems and projects to deliver value to business.
So what exactly is the best part about your job?
Well, for my job, it's about the challenge. It's about getting exposed to so many different things, and actually being faced with all those business challenges to see how can IT enable and support those business problems and areas.
What other challenges do you face on a daily basis?
Well, I guess it's about having the right skills. You need to make sure you've got the right team and the right skills to deliver on all the demands from business, because they do come quite a lot.
Yeah. And if you don't, then that would be the big challenge, hey?
Yes, if you don't deliver with the right systems and the right information to business, they can't make the right business decisions that they need to do. So you need to keep those things up and running and make sure you've got the right information and systems available.
Now, how important is a good IT department in the company? And let me just throw another one in there. Can a bad IT department ruin the entire company?
Yes, businesses rely more and more on IT departments. We need to make sure that we have the right scenarios, that we cater for all the scenarios, disasters, all those things. You need to keep the business critical systems up and running, and in certain companies 24/7. So, and yes, so for instance, banks, they rely heavily on IT.
Oh, no, definitely, yeah.
Correct. So if the IT department fails to deliver or get those things up and running, it actually can bring companies to a standstill.
Now, Geldenes, what kind of people would you be looking to employ in your company?
Yeah, so some of the valued qualities that we look for is people that are self-driven, motivated, those people that are eager to learn, that's positive, and also people with good interpersonal skills.
Mm-hmm. And qualification is obviously very important.
Qualification is important. Currently, we're looking for some graduates, especially in the metallurgy, engineering, geology areas, because those people you can typically employ and coach to become business analysts for us.
Now, there are learners watching this right now. What advice would you give them, especially the ones that strictly want to pursue IT?
So IT, I would think just carry on studying, get your information technology qualifications, just keep going. I guess when I started out originally, I was a software developer. I never thought I would end up where I am now. So opportunities will come your way, and it's about identifying those, grasping it, and just give it everything you've got.
So let's say I work for Anglo-American in Australia. Would I be able to come to South Africa and apply the same skills that I did back there?
Definitely. Within Anglo-American, we've got one global IM structure now. So we all report up to our CIO, and though we work in different parts of the continents or the business, we all really work towards the same vision and goal.
Yeah, so South Africans can also move to other countries and work for Anglo-American.
Yes, definitely.
Great stuff. Now, when Pearl introduced you earlier, she said you are the MTS manager. What does the MTS stand for?
MTS stands for Mining Technical Systems Manager. So that's focusing specifically on mining type applications and all technical type systems. So those are different to normal commercial, where we deal with finance, supply chain, and those kind of systems.
Yeah. Now, as an IT specialist or manager or MTS manager, you have so many titles under your name. Did you have to continue studying, just to keep up with the latest trends, what's happening in the world?
Yes, definitely. I originally started with information technology, then I did my business commerce degree, and I'm currently studying my MBA. So that's, you have to keep going. Though I don't necessarily learn the latest software development languages, etc., you kind of get the concept, and you get the experts in your team to learn those.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're done with our questions, but you're not going yet. Nope. Because before the ad break, we wanted to know the answer to this brain teaser. What was the brain teaser, Zola?
Well, it was in binary language. 0, 1, 10, and 11 represent which decimal numbers?
Do you think you know?
0, 1, 10, 11?
No,
it's very easy. You're actually going to kick yourself for this.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Is it? Is that SOS or?
Oh, my word. That was the answer. He said it was easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the answer was 0, 1, 2, 3.
There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got to keep it moving.
And finally, to complete our broadcast, we're joined by Murunga Mokoena, who's here from the University of Johannesburg Psychological Services and Career Development Department. Now, Murunga will run through some tools on how to choose the right career.
Yes, now this week she will look at a very important person.
You.
Now this segment is called Who Am I?
Murunga, take it away.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
The most important question you need to ask yourself when making a career decision is, who am I? Perhaps, what am I born to do in this world? What is my purpose in life? That is very important, because when you choose a career, you look for a place where your abilities, strengths, and weaknesses can be well accommodated. Now, there are many things that we can look at when looking at who the person is or what makes up the person as a whole. A few of those that I'm going to look at today are aptitude, personality, interests, values, skills, and goals. Looking at aptitude, this refers to the strengths that the person believes he or she has. And they include things like linguistic abilities, or the ability to work with languages and words, or whether the person is good with numbers, whether the person is good with other kinds of gifts, such as interpersonal skills, such as music, such as dancing gifts, everything that the person believes are natural gifts that they can use within the workplace. Aptitude, nowadays, when we're looking at assessing people for career decision-making, we also look at the rationality or the intellectual ability to learn, your ability to learn new things, and the amount of work that you have learned and been able to pick up from your environment. Secondly, when looking at personality, we're talking about the consistent way in which a person presents him or herself to the people around. We're looking at the way you interact with your friends, family. We're looking at the way you interact with the work. We're looking at the way you understand yourself, your preferences, whether you like your life structured or flexible, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, whether you prefer working on your own or among other people. Moving on to interest, we're looking at things that you always like doing, such as the kind of toys that you've liked playing with, the kind of TV programs you used to watch when you're growing up, what magazines or books you used to read, anything that interests you, that you are passionate about. For instance, who were your role models? What is it that attracted you to them? What is it that you wanted to be like? Who did you want to, imitate when you were growing up? That informs your interest. It's informed by your experiences, your background, and everything you were exposed to in your childhood. Your career has to take that into account, and if you're not passionate about what you are doing, you're not going to be confident. So it's very important that you follow a passion that accommodates, or a career that accommodates your interests. Moving on to values, here we're looking at things that you've decided are important to you, such as the amount of money that you will get from your job, such as the security that's offered by your job, such as the environment you will be working in. There are people who will compromise certain things and not others. For instance, if you feel that you can never work with adults above a certain age, you'll always be working with careers. That's a value. You need to know what is it that you're looking for from a job. What is it that you value as a person, so that you do not compromise your standards. Research has shown that if you agree, if your intellect, if your personality, your interests, and your values are in agreement, you will perform and you will achieve your best in any career you choose. The last point I want to talk about is skills and goals. By skills, we are referring to the achievements you have attained in the past. What is it that you involved yourself in high school, outside and inside of school? What is it that you learned? It could be leadership positions. It could be the ability to interact with others. It could be problem-solving skills. It could be anything that you acquired, that you learned, that you did not have initially. And skills are often improved by participating in different activities. So when looking towards going into a certain career, you need to take that into account. What is it that you've learned from primary, middle, high school, so that when you get to the tertiary institution, all of those can help you prepare yourself for the world of work. Now, by goals, we are referring to what is it that you want to attain at the end of the day in the career that you are going into. It could be a comfortable life. It could be a place where you will actualize your potential to the fullest. It could be a place where your gifts and abilities are used until you are left empty. There's a great saying that says that everybody is supposed to die empty. The graves are rich with potential because people just did not use what they have. By goals, you are deciding for yourself, this is what I'm going to do, these are the skills that I'm going to use, these are the personality qualities that will be a great resource for me, and these are the interests that will be satisfied or gratified by the passion that I have in this career. And this is the aptitude or the natural abilities to learn, or the learning that I have acquired that I will use to perform and do my best in my career. In sum, I would like to say it is very important that you remember you spend most of your time at work. You therefore need to choose a career that will not demand of you to change yourself, but rather it must suit you. You must decide that your personality, your interests, things that are important to you that cannot be changed easily, such as your character, cannot be compromised. It is an absolute necessity that you choose a career that resonates with you, because we are in an era where we are constructing careers and not fitting into them. I wish you all the best with your career decisions in the future.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
I'm certain that the information and tools that you have received today will make a positive difference to your future and your career. As you sit here today, your most valuable asset by far is your future earning stream, and that is your choice. My final advice to you is to use this information to the best of your ability. Go out there and ask questions, contact the appropriate people, investigate your options, and never give up. You are the master of your own destiny. Like Nedbank, you too can make things happen.
We got to keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
So there you have it. That was really, really interesting. We simply couldn't function as a modern society without plenty of computing and IT professionals to keep things connected.
I mean, just imagine a world without Facebook or PlayStation or SMSing. Sounds horrible. So if you're looking for an exciting and dynamic career where you work on the cutting edge, IT just may be the thing for you.
Yes, it might. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, please speak to your educator to find out about all the coming week's topics. And don't forget to do what? To register.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, from Blackburn and Zola, time for us to say bye.
Adios.
We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it high. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to never stop. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it high. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving.